Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. In this video I wanted to say a few words about karma. It's a huge topic, and I thought it would be nice to point out one or two essential things. Karma means deeds, and it's really about what we do. It's about what we do to ourselves, physically, even what we eat, mentally, how we relate to ourselves, handle our lives, handle our precious human opportunity. And most importantly, it's about how we relate to each other, what we do to each other, what we do with each other. And it's really about the doing, not how we explain that doing afterwards, not the stories we tell ourselves or tell others about how it was. Karma means the power of what you are actually doing, the energy, the power in the moment of what you do. So it takes some skill already to separate out what people are really doing and what they think they're doing. But anyway, karma is mainly about what we do. Of course, we see a lot of the obviousness of this all around us, and science is really the journal of material doing for the most part. One point about karma is that nothing happens for no reason. That would really be a miracle. There are always reasons. Otherwise I could turn into a cabbage in the next second. That won't happen. There are reasons for everything, materially, but also experientially. This is the point of karma, and this is the value of the Buddhist teachings, because we can see the immediate outcomes, consequences of what we do on other people, on the material world around us, on a garden, like this garden I'm sitting in now. What we don't see are the long-term consequences. What we don't understand is the very fact that there are long-term consequences, that there may be other lives. And the whole point is that what we're doing now is writing the story of those other lives. What we are now is, to a certain extent, not 100%, but to a certain extent, a story already written by our past lives, who we meet, how the encounters are, whether we're rich or poor, healthy, sick, loved or hated. So much of that is a result of the past. And of course we all want a very, very nice future. However we envisage it, nobody really wants to suffer. So there's a difference between short-term consequences and long-term, because in the short term you might enjoy, let's take a really heavy example, killing somebody. It might get rid of a whole load of problems from your life because they've been a real nuisance. And if it stopped there, it would be one thing. But if there is such a thing as karma, cause and effect, due to actions and with its innate moral quality, then there will also be long-term consequences. Ah, that's nice. It's the first cicadas, the first cigale of the year, have just started. It's June in Provence here. Anyway, to get back to the topic. If there are long-term consequences, then in a future life, we ourselves may be killed, may suffer physical injury as a result of that. It's just the way the cosmos works. We don't see that. For the moment, we can't measure it scientifically, materially. But the fact that we can't measure it materially doesn't mean it doesn't exist. There are so many things we couldn't measure until 20 years ago. Now we can. Now for science they exist. But for the moment, we can't measure karma. And one other point I wanted to say about karma is that although we talk about cause and effect in the sense of, you do something in this life now, and then there's in another life, boom, something comes back to you. In practice, it's how it happens. But when in Buddhist studies we see karma, cause and effect, there is no two bits. Just as when you plant a seed in the ground in the autumn, it's not as though you plant a seed, then that's finished, and all of a sudden, next year, something comes out the ground. That's how it seems, but of course the seed has been there all the time, waiting, maturing, and when the heat and the water and the light and all the other things come, then it grows. It is one long process without interruption. Karma means doing. So when you do something, you have already made that uninterrupted sequencing in the fabric of reality, that one day, when the various circumstances trigger it, just like the warmth of spring and the water on the soil trigger the seed, then the result will emerge in your experience. How all of that works is to do with the mind, the very nature of consciousness and our cognitive processes. It makes total sense. There's no mystery to it. There's nobody out there keeping records, dishing out rewards and punishments. It's in the very fabric of the nature of existence, and existence, as quantum physics itself understands now, is consciousness, no more, no less. Karma is what we do, so please, please be very mindful and aware of what you do. We live physically, materially, in a world at a very important stage of its history, especially for us humans. Your food, your clothing, so many things we do every day involve the whole planet. Please be very careful, be very moral, be very loving and kind in what you do materially. Another thing is what we say. Probably this is, for those of you listening, one area where there's a lot to be learned. We may be quite aware environmentally and so on. But what we say to each other can be so wounding. This thing, speech, is a great gift. It's a wonderful gift. Always, only ever use it. Please, 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 to help each other, to say the truth, to give encouragement, to give love, to give care. To use this speech as a weapon is the most terrible and horrible thing. It's what we do with our speech that counts. And then mind, well, mind is the king. Whatever we do with our body, say with our speech, it all starts in the way we think, the way our mind works, meditates, does all sorts of things. What you do to yourself with your mind is very important. Care for yourself. Lovingly look after your mind. Care for others. Look after their lives. The humans, the animals, and especially the old and the sick. There's a lot to be done. It's what you do, and that will shape who you become. Thanks for listening. Lots of love to you all.